Planters Bank was founded in 1946 by farmers and business owners because they needed a community bank that knew them and understood their business. A lot has changed since then, but Merchants and Planters Bank is still employee-owned and operated, and we're still committed to knowing and understanding the needs of every customer we serve. Great rates, fast turnarounds, and experienced local bankers ready to work for you. That's why you should choose Merchants and Planters Bank. Stop in any of our 12 locations or contact us at mnpbank.com.
We welcome you to Facebook Live, Cable Channel 15 TV Sports Unleashed. That guy down there is Hayden Schultz. This guy right here is Brian Reardon. The guy that you don't see back over there is Josh Nation. And Ben Black is on assignment elsewhere. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. How's it going, Hayden?
Solid, DB.
Solid. Coach, we're going to talk a little Greyhound football. We ended up on a Friday night, played a pretty good football team, and I think everybody knows that watched the football game. We certainly appreciate everybody watching. But, let's just get right into talking about that football game Friday night. A lot of things went not our way early, and then it kind of snowballed on us. Talk a little bit generally about the game.
That happens. That team was solid in all areas. I mean, they had no weaknesses that we could find anyway. We think we had it again. We could compete a little better, but when the last game of the year, as a coach, you always like to think either you win or because you're in Little Rock and you're the best team, or if you do get beat, the better team beats you. And it's hard to say that sometimes, but they were the better team Friday night. We just couldn't get it together in any of our areas of the game, and they had it together on special teams, offense and defense. A well-coached bunch, a very talented physical bunch, clean in all areas, and I'd be surprised if they don't win it all. I don't know if somebody beats them, they're going to be pretty darn good.
They have to be a good football team.
And
I think there's 4 good ones left.
That's semifinals.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's right.
And we had talked about all along that, and not taking anything away from anybody, but if you have that good success against the Melbourne football team, which Melbourne's 13-0, they're leading AAA in total points scored 570. They've got a great opportunity. They play Boonville and then Rising and Charleston would be a great matchup. I mean, 2 perennial, great football teams. But hey, now I'll ask you just real quick, just what do you like? Anybody going to be better than Charleston?
No, I mean I think they're probably one of the favorites to win it all. Going in, I thought Prescott was probably the best team, and then Rising goes down there and upsets them, and I thought that would be a game that Rising probably could, just because of how much they played each other over the years in AAA football. Both those schools have been in 3A quite some time, and they always seem like they get matched up at some point. So Rising, different little run power type deal. Prescott's more, flashy. So, Rising, maybe a little shocker there as far as them pulling that off. But Charleston, they're the best football team I've seen this year.
Coach, let me ask you this: was there anything that I mean, during the game or after the game, and you go, "Wow, I didn't realize this about that team." I mean, what kind of not mean shocked you, but what did they do that kind of not even surprised? Nothing surprised us at all. We knew what they were capable of.
Well, you never know. And we watched an excessive amount of film.
Sure.
You never really know what you get into till you get there, though.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how good they were going to be in the trenches. They dominated on the offensive line and the defensive line. They were athletic. They weren't as big. They were strong, athletic kids in the trenches. They could move well, and they were also. You could tell they've been hitting the weight room.
Absolutely.
I'd say they certainly. I bet they have. I have no idea, but I bet they have a pretty good weight program going on over there right now. So that was the one thing that I thought when we got there. Everything else I kind of thought I had a pretty good feel for going into it. They were better in the trenches than I thought they'd be.
Big atmosphere. I mean, and it should be when you get that far. You play after Thanksgiving, and I got to looking at some things today. There's 36 teams in AAA, and the Newport Greyhounds just happen to be one of 7 that won at least 9 football games this year. So I mean, it's nothing to. To be ashamed of that we got beat in the quarterfinals. You win 9 football games, and the other teams that did were Center Point, Boonville, Prescott, Rising, Charleston, Melbourne. Well, that's a pretty good group.
Well, that's a
pretty good group.
I guess that's why we were in the quarterfinals.
That's exactly right.
You ought to be there. And our goal is always to is always here to go to state. And then some years you're going to fall short. And I hope we're on the right track and start getting more and more shots at it. And then that's what you got to do. Year in and year out, put yourself in that situation. And then one of these years, you're going to get the ball bounce your way and whatnot. And hopefully we got a lot of work to do in the off season. Our big focus is going to be in the weight room. We're going to take them to the weightlifting meet this year and compete at state for that and try to get a whole lot of try to eat those weights, what I like to call it. So
there you go.
Hopefully we'll be talking about this again next year with 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 wins or whatever. You can't complain about it. It's still kind of new to me. For the first time in I don't know how long I wasn't practicing football today. So
right,
you almost feel out of whack. You just so it'll take a little while for me to appreciate the season. But yes, I guess 9 wins isn't too bad. As a coach, I sit there thinking we should have beat BB, we should have beat.
Right, yeah.
So I think we should have had 11 or 12 of them, but I'm always going to be that way.
Hayden and I talked a little bit about this before we got on the air, and we talk about it all the time. It's just that sometimes when you just go out there and play, sometimes things work and sometimes things don't work. And Hayden, we look at the film. You can look at the film of the ball game, Friday night, and you go, golly gee, they had a great football team, but we had a pretty good year, and it just didn't work for us last Friday night.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, watching Charleston beforehand, I didn't realize how good that quarterback was.
Right.
I knew that he was, probably their best player, but then getting to watch him and then our guys trying to tackle him or, and that guy throwing the football, he's 100% the best quarterback probably in 3A, maybe even 4A, maybe even 5A. Kid was phenomenal, and then defensively when he turns around, he runs stripe for stripe.
I thought it was play the game. I really did with Isaiah.
With Kendall and bats that ball away and a beautiful ball, good route. I mean, had him maybe half a step, and he just kind of closes in and taps it away. And that was kind of when I was like, all right, 12 for Charleston, he can play a little bit. They were a good football team. I mean, there's nothing really hang your hat on. You kind of said it best. Ran into a buzzsaw, and things happen. So. You got to get in that weight room. I mean, that's where you got to live because that's what gets you ready for the season. I know the kids don't really realize that. You just want to play, but the weight room that's where it starts paying off to where you get those 12, 13 wins because you just dominate people up front.
And you also mentioned, and I want to hit on this about, and when you get to come in, it's like you haven't been here a year yet. No. You haven't established what the weight room's going to look like. I mean, so we're still learning. So what's going to happen now? Tell us kind of about what you have planned, and as far as the dates and so on and so forth, and what we're going to do to get stronger.
Well, first thing you give the kids a week off for mental reasons and physical. Some of them are beat up and need a week off. Then we'll probably go in and start teaching since not much time between now and Christmas break to get into a routine a whole lot. But we can teach our structure and routine and our expectations between now and then. And maybe go ahead and get your first round of maxes going and bench max and squat and power cleaning. Get in there and kind of give us just between now and Christmas, that's our goal. Sit down. As coaches, we're still going to meet probably later in the week. As coaches, we're going to take a few days off too,
Sure.
Get our minds right. But
it's been a grind.
But we've already talked about it all, and we're going to meet up into the week and put together our program for the entire year. We're going into April. There'll be that state weightlifting meet. That'll give them a goal outside of football to think about.
Sure.
We won 2 of those when I was a Southside State champion.
Very successful.
And Coach Morse, I don't know if anybody knows, was the Arkansas Strongman of the Year one year in the heavyweight division. He also was at Danville as the strength conditioning coach. He won some state championships there. So I think we've got a lot of weight room minded guys that we're all sit down and kind of get it going, and hopefully between now and Christmas just at least lay out the structure and teach our routines and what all we want to do and start eating that weight room, man. We got to fall in love with it. You have to fall in love with that weight room to be a good program.
Coach, we had a great crowd this past Friday night. I won't get back on the game. Just a great following. A lot of folks came from Newport and were there, and even coming out at halftime, our fans were on their feet. They, there was no give up in our fans. There was no give up in our team. There's no give up in anybody. But just you run into that buzzsaw as we talk about. But compliment the fans for how they've traveled this year following the Greyhounds. Talk about that.
I thought they did a great job. Outside of the really cold night we had at home one night, I thought the home and the away. Sometimes earlier in the year, I thought we had bigger crowds. Charleston had a big crowd, but some of the other places we traveled to, thought we might have had more than some of them did earlier in the year. So I'm very proud of it. I was glad to see the excitement. Glad to see Thursday at the little.
Wasn't that fun?
There was a lot. I mean, rainy, cold, Thanksgiving, 8 o'clock. I didn't think anybody was going to show up. I thought we're going to move this inside and do something, make the best of it. Next thing I looked around, there's 60 people in there probably. I thought, well, this is a pretty good crowd.
Yes, sir.
We tried our best to put on some kind of practice there, and but it was good to see them there, and we appreciate that. We hope to make that a yearly routine and tradition. And it was great to see them at Charleston. That's a long drive. I mean, for you to go to travel that far, show some love and some dedication. And I know some people from my friends and family and other people from that part of the state came down to see. My brother drove down. Some of my good buddies from high school that live in Fayetteville area, and some that live in that part of the state were old Newport. The Newport blood's in them. It's always in them, And I saw some of those guys show up. So glad to see them there, and I appreciate it. Sorry we didn't do a little better job with the game. Again, were they better than us? Probably, yeah. I don't think they're that much better than us. I still think we could have played a little better than that and done things better. But that's the coach in me. I'm always going to think that. But we appreciate him coming, and hopefully that next year we'll get back on the right step. I think the future's bright. I mean, we got a lot of kids wrong. Big senior class we lose, going to miss them.
Yeah.
Got a small one coming up next year, but that's fine. The ones we coming back to back are all going to be – they're just all quality. I mean, depth, linemen, skill players, everything coming. So,
well, it's good as a head coach to look and look backwards and look at the future and say, well, where we're going to be and what do we lose out of this class, and do we have anybody to replace the guys? And so, but we do. We've got plenty of guys to replace what we're losing. But what a great job by this senior class. I mean, they come in and a new regime comes in and I mean, these guys they went to work for you. I know that they went to work.
They get something to be proud of. The first class in 20 years went back to back. Quarterfinals. I don't know what they would have done their 10th grade year, but I think they had a pretty good year. I mean, so if you look at their career,
second round.
Add up their wins and look at what they did. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and a great bunch, some athletes in that bunch. Going to miss them. I mean, you're always going to miss your seniors, but they'll get to move on. Some of those guys will be playing college ball. I told some of them looking forward to seeing you playing at the next level. Some of them get to move on and be Greyhound fans. Like we have to do. Part of it.
I look back at the whole year and going back to our original discussion. Hayden, first 4 games. Coach said we could win all 4, we could lose all 4, we could go 2-2, 3-1, or 1-3. Looking back at those 4, how did that set the tone for what we saw for the rest of the year?
Well, I thought anytime you can beat Osceola at Osceola is huge for your program, and it shows. I mean, they were a Final 8 team this year.
Yes,
that didn't win a non-conference game. I mean, you looked at Houghton's and Osceola's like 27th out of 36 teams or whatever
there is. Undefeated and won their conference.
Well, I mean, and you walk through
in their conference won the field.
Other than the Hoxie game, I mean, they mauled everybody else that they played. So, I mean, that was kind of a welcoming, Newport football as far as beating Osceola, and then Stuttgart, an old conference rivalry.
That went down to the wire.
That came down to. We ended up losing by 10, but it was honestly 3.
It was a 3-point game.
Score a late touchdown, which if any chance of us coming back, he scored the touchdown for us to
Have a
potentially
chance, yeah.
to go score. And then BB, a 5A school, they didn't make the playoffs. I think they ended up finishing 4-4. Is that
They
right?
went 6-4.
6-4.
6-4 overall.
They
Yeah,
got the fourth. They tied for the fourth seed.
tied for the fourth, but got pointed
Got
out.
pointed out.
Yeah.
I talked to the coach the other
yeah.
day.
A quality football team. So and then who else am I missing? Who's the fourth?
Played Truman and
Truman ended up
Oh yeah, they made the playoffs.
ended up making the playoffs. Were they a 4 seed out of that
They were
conference?
fourth seed, I believe. Yeah. In the 4A.
Quality football team once again, and that was a tough one to win, and it was one of those games where you look back and you're like, man, we should have beat them by 30, and then you go look at the scores of who they're playing, and ain't nobody beating them by 30.
right.
So that just kind of tells you how good they were, and anytime you get to play, and they're all different phases as far as what they do offensively, what they do defensively. It gets you prepared for, going to play Charleston, who throws 5 wide at you, and then you might have to play a Boonville, who's going to run under center, and they're going to run it right down your throat. You got to see a lot of that with Truman, Stuttgart, Osceola. It was all different every week. So,
I think one thing that I look back on in looking at the game, what you've said all year long from the very beginning, you got to be able to run the football.
Yeah.
You got to be able to run the football. And we had a very difficult time trying to run the football last Friday night. And when that happens, then it's hard to throw the football when you can't run the football.
If you can't run the football, you're not going to win big playoff games.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be able to do it. I mean, you can't win the trenches. You can't win championships at a high level, So, and they were phenomenal in that area. That's why I think they're going to win it all. I mean, I'd be surprised. If somebody beats them, it's because they're going to be better than them in those trenches, I assume.
Right,
I'd be
right.
shocked if that happens. But there's nobody bad left, so that could happen. And hey, I'm going to pull for old Stu Smith over at Melbourne.
Absolutely.
Still representing our conference at 13-0 right now. Good for them, man. Beat Glen Rose. I saw Glen Rose on film. They played Magna Cove. That was a really good Glen Rose team.
Mm-hmm.
They went to win that game, and now they got a chance to beat Boonville. I think
I
they get them
would
at
agree.
home, don't they?
Yeah, they get them at home.
get 'em at home,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Boonville had to go 2 Smackover,
2
Osceola, and now 2 Melbourne.
That's right.
You talking about some road trips for them boys.
I really like Stu's team. I really like that bunch, and we had a very competitive game with those guys, and could have gone either way, and those guys came out on top. And but man, I'm pulling for Melbourne for sure.
Yeah, you always want your conference to
Absolutely.
do well. And you talk about our non-conference. Everybody, wait till you get in the conference. Y'all gonna have a cakewalk. Well, yeah, that was way better than everybody thought it was going to be. Our conference
was
five
solid.
Seed almost beat Osceola.
That's
Osceola
right.
Had the ball driving.
Yes, sir.
Lost 2014. The other 4 did win their first game.
Right.
And two of us won the next game.
Yep.
Salem drew Prescott. I mean, tough draw.
Yeah.
Tough in the second round. I think they could have won another playoff game. Turn around now, and we got one still alive. So. Had we been on the other side of the bracket, could have been us. That Melbourne game still probably stings the most.
Right.
But again, when your conference is somebody's still out in your conference, and you hate them when you play them, and you don't like them, but when you get it into the playoffs,
I'll tell you
it's funny.
before.
We all text each other, and good luck, congratulations, and they're still reaching out. Some of them have reached out. I know you didn't want to end like that, but a lot of the coaches reached out, and I've talked to Stu Smith, and good luck. I mean, congrats. I know you don't want to lose like that, but hey, wasn't a bad year, whatnot. So I hope they go on, and hey, maybe they'll get them a state championship. That'd be good for them. Anybody left can win it. Like I said, my money's on Charleston.
Well, you look at that bunch and you go, I don't see how anybody could be better.
Yeah.
Who could be better than those guys? And when you play somebody like that, and you look at it statistically, it was not just that bad. I mean, it wasn't like they gained 700 and something yards and we gained 6. But they were 300 plus. We were close to 200. But just had a few things that just didn't go our way, and it happens in football. And so you turn the page and you look forward to the future, and you get in the weight room and
There you go.
you get better. You got to get better.
That's
And if you're going to compete for state championships, and here's the thing that I want to impress upon everybody: it's very, very, very difficult to win a state championship. I mean, the goal's always got to be to get there and try to win one. We've been playing playoff football for 52 years. And we've won 2.
That's right.
We've won 2.
And we're a good football program.
And we're a great football program. Yeah, that's just how difficult it is. And we had some of the greatest football teams ever here that didn't win state championships. So it's very difficult to do. Yeah, I've seen some great football teams be 10-0 and get beat in the first round of the playoffs. And it just happens. I mean, you do the best you can. It's kids representing us, and I think that's where the pride comes in from my standpoint is watching these kids, watch them develop, watch them go through a Pee Wee program, watch them get better, watch them into 7th grade, watch them become good gray pups, watch them become good greyhounds, and then it's time to move on with the group.
That's it.
Next group's coming.
Like I said, when you look down the road. That's what you do in the season, where you recap everything. Our junior high team our 7th graders went undefeated. Our junior high team went 8-1, and the senior high won 9 games. I think you could even go down to the Pee Wees. One of our Pee Wee teams, 5th graders, I think. I always love when those parents would come up to me. Yeah, that's too far away for me to look.
Right, yeah.
You got a good class coming. I don't know if that's a long way for me to still be here.
Yes, sir.
But I think the 5th graders, one of the 5th graders that were real good this
5th
year.
grade.
I think they went to the championship and had a great year. But I'm proud of the kids. That age to me is more about developmental. But if they win a championship, that's good for them. But it looks like it's coming. It's going to keep coming. So we just got to keep plugging away and see what happens. I think we can be in the conversation every year. That's the goal.
Hayden, any last look back at the year and what you thought and where do we go from here?
Overall, 9-4, nothing to hang your hat about. Kind of like you said, David. I'm kind of excited to see some of these 9th graders coming up. Mm-hmm. Got to see some of them Friday play a little bit. I know a lot of those kids that are in 9th grade that'll play next year, and some of them didn't move up. Correct.
Yeah, we give them a choice. Some of them went on over to basketball because they kind of needed them to.
Yeah.
To get some games going.
Sure.
But that'll actually be good players for us. And I always tell those 9th graders it doesn't affect anything in the future if you don't want to. And some of them just chose to go ahead and start hitting the weight room, and they knew they weren't going to play. On Friday nights, they just want to come watch and cheer them on. So it's a good bunch. They're going to be fine. And it's just the reality is, though, a lot of them have to play just because the senior bunch next year is 3 of them. It's just going to be they're 3 good ones, but there's only 3 of them. So
right.
So the 9th and 10th or 10th, 11th graders, they're going to have to play next year. But those are 2 really good classes back to back. And the one behind them is really good. Like I said, I don't figure we may have a tough sledding early on next year, but it'll be one of the other ones. It'll be another one of those years that just because being young,
right?
I think we hit conference and all that. I think it'll be a really good year. I don't know who's going to be I don't know if there's a clear cut favorite in the conference next year either. To be honest with you, Melbourne's losing their big senior class.
Yes.
All those guys are losing, and that 10th grade receiver they have. Got offered by the Hogs at LSU for baseball and all that.
Yep.
I hear he's done after this year from pretty strong sources.
Yep.
So Salem, I think, bringing that young bunch up they had will be pretty good.
They'll be tough.
Quitman's losing that quarterback, and he was a little bit of a difference maker.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm going to sit here and say there'd be no reason why we can't win conference next year.
Right. There you go.
I don't.
That's always a goal.
That's going to be our goal, but I'm being realistic. We can. We'll have to do. There'll be some growing in those first 4 games, though. Like I said, those 4 teams are never going to be bad. BB's getting all their guys back.
Yeah.
Osceola's always going to be good. Stuttgart's always going to be good. Truman's always solid. Their down years aren't even that bad of down years. So
we certainly don't do any recruiting. If anybody out there would like to come join us, you'll just welcome to. Not that I.
You can recruit the community.
Absolutely right.
Come live in our town, and if you do,
it's a good place to live. I guarantee.
Got a high school here. They got a football team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's all the good things. But any final thoughts, Coach? Or last time that we,
not
the last time we get to visit because we'll have you back for sure. But we got to move on to basketball season and round ball. We got some round ball coming up.
Let's talk at the round ball. A lot of these kids moved over to basketball already, and there's some good ones that came out of the football program. So I know Coach Ferguson's excited to get his season rolling and get those guys over there, and they're going to be extremely athletic. I expect them to do really well this year in basketball, and I'm excited to start getting to watch some of it myself. You never want your season to be over till the championship, but when you do get over, it takes you a week or 2, and then you
move on.
To the next one, looking forward to seeing these seniors. The seniors are good at everything. They're going to be good at baseball this year. They're going to be good at track. They're going to be good. Like I said, let's just do it one at a time. We're going to basketball right now. And looking forward to watching them and see what they have. I think they're going to do great this year. But as far as wrapping up our season, I thought 9 games is not a bad year. The quarterfinals is a solid year. As a coach, you always because I think it should be more 11 or 12 wins.
Right. Yep.
I'm gonna hold myself to that expectations, and maybe next year we'll get there or the next, and And our goal will be to win conference next year.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and I mean we'll be there. We're going to do some basketball games, get started. I was looking at the schedule today. Sometimes, yeah, there you go. That's what we'll do.
Enjoy basketball.
Enjoy a little basketball, but we appreciate you spending all year with us here on this program and talking about our kids and talking about our program and talking about the tradition-rich program that we have. And anytime you can visit and talk about kids coming and looking forward to being Newport Greyhounds, I'm excited about that. Hey, boy, it's been a good run. We'll continue on. We'll have Coach back and we'll talk Razorback football, Razorback basketball.
I can talk about any kind of sports.
There you go. There you go.
I can hang in there with you.
But we've got the Two Chicks Florist birthday report coming right up, and then the ending ad segment is kind of hard for me to say. But Coach, thanks again for joining us. And Hayden, we'll do it again, my friend. And as always, go Hounds. Well, if you're not sure exactly what you want to get for Christmas and you want some great Christmas ideas, we certainly recommend Two Chicks Florists and Gifts right here in Newport, Arkansas. Go down and see the wide selection of great gift ideas that they have. It's a birthday report, but it's also a Christmas report also. We're coming into the month of December. Looking forward to Christmas being here after Thanksgiving, and all the Christmas sales start, but make sure you do a lot of business or some business with Two Chicks Florist and Gifts. Happy birthday today on Monday, November the 28th. Jorge Salinas has a birthday. Natasha Stewart, Mike Gleghorn, Catherine Williams Miller has a birthday on Monday today. Tomorrow's birthday, Laura Shannon has a birthday. Gracie McGuire, Jacoby Rowland, and Christopher Avalos, all with birthdays on the 29th. On Wednesday the 30th, Robert Turner, Kevin McCormick have birthdays. Jeremy Long, Scott Lofton, and Gary White, all with birthdays on November the 30th. Thursday's birthdays, Claire Armstrong, Chris Vines, Tony Garcia has a birthday. Chuck Carney and Brenda Stegall, all with birthdays on Thursday, December the 1st. And then on Friday, December the 2nd, Jan Jackson Maris with a birthday. And Dana Hopkins also has a birthday on the 2nd. Saturday's birthdays, a lot of them to report. Leanne Holmes, Mary Lynn Washington White have birthdays. Janet Blair, Kathy Gates, Trace Susky with birthdays on Saturday. Roy Perrin, the class of 1974, Danya Dykus with a birthday, Zach MacArthur, Seth Davis, and Shelley Marler. And then on Sunday, Tommy John Palazzi, Hozier from Batesville, Arkansas, Doug Adams, Marty Gates, Zach Barker, and Leslie Tinsley, all with birthdays on Sunday. Do a little business with Two Chicks Florist and more. Happy birthday and Merry Christmas from all of us. Take this opportunity to thank all of our sponsors on Cable 15 TV, Facebook Live, Sports Unleashed. And that list is long, and we certainly appreciate all of them, or we wouldn't be able to put these programs together. Included in that list is C&M Ag Depot at 2900 Highway 367 North. Farm supplies, hardware, clothing store, power tools, you name it. Before you shop out of town, come see us at C&M Ag Depot. Dia Scrap Metal, buying cars, iron, copper, can, brass, steel, stainless, electric motors. They buy everything and they pay in real money. Give them a call at 523-3858 for more information. Fletcher Land Survey. Before you build that fence, make sure you have accurate boundaries. If you don't, you might mess up and have to tear it down. Give Kenny a call at 523-5625. Other sponsors include Fathead Pizza. That's one word and it's all caps. And it's the Hembry Brothers, Joey and Marcus. Great pizza, fresh, hot sandwiches, and the salad supreme that's second to none. You can call your order in at 870-201-1313. They'll have it ready to go. It'll be piping hot when you pick it up. Delta Trainer, been involved for 50 plus years right here in Newport, Arkansas. Dale Lee started this business many years ago in his backyard, and just built one trailer, and then one trailer went to two trailers, and then the third trailer, and then pretty soon it's a multi-trailer business, sending trailers all across the United States and Canada. These guys do it right, and let me tell you, there's no better family in Jackson County than the Eves family. And then also Temp Pro. Ask about financing on new upgrades. Sam and John Laster are the guys. Give them a call at 501-827-3213. White River Health, caring beyond health care. Until next time, everybody, this is David Black for Cable 15 TV and Sports Unleashed. Thank you. See you next time.